Conservative new media and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's going on? We're here to analyze and break down Houston's 88-79 loss tonight to the New Orleans Hornets in New Orleans, Louisiana. With the loss, Houston drops to 21-15 on the season, and their 5-game winning streak ends. New Orleans improves to 10-25 with the win, and they have now won 3 games in a row. This was an ugly game, particularly for the first 3 quarters. Neither team was shooting the ball that well. I think at halftime, Houston was shooting like 36% from the field, and New Orleans was shooting like 33%. So the defense was pretty good, but a lot of it was just the teams were missing shots. A lot of them were open shots. However, New Orleans really found their shooting touch in the fourth quarter of the game, and that's where they did most of their damage offensively. Houston was in pretty good control of this game until the fourth quarter. The Rockets were up 10 points after the third period ended, but New Orleans was able to outscore Houston 29-10 in the fourth quarter, and that's how they ended up winning this game. Now, I have talked about this before in other videos about other games this season. The reason why Houston started to lose this game or lose control of this game in the fourth quarter, in my opinion, was because they were not able to score when James Harden was on the bench. And that's been a problem for the team in various other games this season. And it really bit them tonight. It really got them. Because what happened was Houston wasn't able to get points. And then New Orleans was starting to chip away at the lead. And then New Orleans started gaining momentum. They started getting confident. They started hitting pretty much everything they shot, put up at the basket, and Houston just could not get their own energy back. Harden came back into the game with about 8.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, but it was almost too late already, and New Orleans just kind of rolled on from there, and that's how this game was lost. James Harden did have an overall good game. He played well tonight. He had like 25 points. General Grievous, and Roger Mason Jr. were very good for New Orleans. Now let's turn to Jeremy. Jeremy had 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists tonight. He played 42 minutes. He shot 4 of 12 from the field. He made 1 of 4 3-pointers. He took no free throws tonight. He had 5 steals, no block shots, and he turned the ball over 5 times. His plus-minus was -18, and his overall efficiency number was 11, which is below par. Grievous Vasquez, the Hornets point guard, definitely outplayed Jeremy tonight, got the better of Jeremy. Jeremy didn't shoot well tonight. I mean, just 4 out of 12, 1 out of 3, basically 33%. But I thought he played okay overall. He played fine. The thing that Jeremy did very well tonight was that he played at a good pace. I talked about it in yesterday's game that Coach Kevin McHale pulled Jeremy with about 7 minutes left in the first quarter in that game because Jeremy wasn't playing at a fast speed. But tonight he played at a fast speed pretty much the whole game. And I think that's why he probably played so many minutes, because I think Kevin McHale was happy with the way Jeremy was playing. What's important for fans to understand, and it's important for Jeremy to understand as well, is that he doesn't have to play perfect. When you play at a fast pace, you're going to make more mistakes. And we talked about this with the Lakers game. There is a pace there is a speed of the game at which Jeremy is going to struggle a little bit. And we said that happened against the Lakers. Jeremy still has a little bit of trouble playing at a really high speed, even though he's a fast player. But when both teams are playing quick, sometimes Jeremy has a little bit of trouble with that still right now. And we said that was because of ball handling and because of decision-making as a point guard. Well, tonight, Jeremy, he wasn't worried about it, and that's good. He wasn't worried about making mistakes. The 5 turnovers, sure, I mean, you don't want that, but it's better for him to have more turnovers and play at the correct pace than to play at a slower pace and have no turnovers. Because as the quarterback of the offense, he needs to set the tempo, and he did that tonight. He was very good at coming out at the first quarter, and he was very good coming into the third quarter off halftime. I thought he really did a good job at that tonight. So if the Rockets would have won this game, I wouldn't have had any problem with the way Jeremy played, because they won and he played in the correct speed. Of course, it's easier to look at the mistakes he made tonight because Houston lost. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll just go through a couple of the plays from the game itself. Early in the third quarter, Jeremy had a really nice crossover dribble move against Grievous Vasquez. It was on the right side of the floor, about midway down the extended lane, close to the three-point line out on the right side. He was going from left to right, meaning he started the dribble in his left hand, and he came and crossed back over to his right hand, and totally dusted Grievous Vasquez. Grievous Vasquez was just left standing there. Now, another defender, I think it was Robin Lopez, stepped up and stopped Jeremy. So Jeremy was not able to complete a move, but the crossover itself was awesome. And we said last night he had a tremendous crossover move. I think it was against Meta World Peace, which is where he got the layup against Robert Sacre and got fouled and then got a three-point play. The crossover tonight was very similar to that. Same thing going left to right, and it was excellent. So, as we've talked about, Jeremy's clearly improving his ability to make one-on-one moves, and that was really good to see. Now, the play of the game for Jeremy came in the middle of the third quarter in this game, and he drove towards the basket, kind of the middle of the lane, and he beat his man, and then he drew another defender. I don't remember who it was, but it was a big man. He went to the right side of the rim. He had both of those guys chasing him. He looked over his shoulder, and he kind of flipped the ball over his shoulder to Omer Ashik for a dunk. That was a great play. That's the type of play that we want to see Jeremy make more of. Put Omer in positions where he can easily dunk the ball. In a couple of the videos recently, maybe 4 or 5 games ago, one of the things I said is that Carlos Delfino is actually really good at passing the ball to Omer in spots where Omer can dunk. And it's something that Jeremy's going to have to keep working at, because Omer's fairly athletic, but he's not a great jumper. So you have to get him in good spots so that he can dunk the ball. And that's what Jeremy did on that play, and it was a tremendous play. It was really, really good. So that was nice to see. One of the things I mentioned in the Lakers game yesterday was that Jeremy has a tendency to make passes that put guys in bad positions. Like the spacing isn't that good. Early in the fourth quarter, he had one of those moments. I can't remember which side of the floor it was on, but I know Jeremy was bringing the ball up, and he was going pretty quick in his own pace, his own dribbling, and I think it was on the right side of the floor. Yeah, he made a pass to, I can't remember if it was Delfino or Chandler Parsons, but the person that caught the pass was, again, they were not in a good spot, and they ended up traveling, trying to kind of put themselves in a better spot from where Jeremy had given them the ball. And we talked about this, and Jeremy will keep improving on that. That's something that can clearly be improved. It's a correctable thing. I think it's just that Jeremy's kind of lack of experience playing point guard recently, meaning at Harvard, and just not having a lot of experience yet in the NBA. He'll get better at that, but it was something I noticed tonight. Now, Jeremy did a really good job tonight in getting steals. He had 5 steals, and he had some very nice plays getting those steals. I mean, late in the game, he had a great, I think it was Vasquez trying to pass the ball in the middle of the lane. Jeremy went in, intercepted it, and he was falling out of bounds, and he saved it. Jeremy's excellent at stealing the ball. I want to say, I think he's in the top 10 in steals per game, and really came through with that tonight, did an excellent job, and he played good defense overall tonight. I know he forced Grievous into an air ball at one point and, making guys miss again, so he did a good job. Overall for Jeremy from this game, he needs to continue to work at his individual moves and being able to score off of the dribble when James Harden's not on the floor. And we've talked about this, that Houston does have this issue, and it's going to be better for them if they can get more guys who are capable of doing that, particularly somebody off the bench. I mean, Jeremy's good at getting to the rim, but he's still working on all of his little layups and floaters and all this type of stuff. And the truth is, he might never be great at that. He might never be great at getting his own shot. And, like somebody like Russell Westbrook or Westbrook's Derrick Rose. I mean, those guys can get their own shot almost any time they want because they're super athletic and they're excellent ball handlers. Jeremy might never be at that level, but he doesn't need to be at that level. He doesn't need to be at that level to be an excellent point guard. I mean, guys like John Stockton, Hall of Famer, played for the Utah Jazz. He wasn't great at getting his own shot. Jason Kidd, he's not great at getting his own shot, but they're still elite point guards. Jeremy's a better driver than either of those two guys. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But particularly at finishing on his drives. But he's not elite at being able to get his own shot and just clear out space and jump over everybody, etc. And Houston could use another guy like that. Now, we've talked about it that Houston has brought on James Anderson. I believe that Patrick Beverley, who came over from Europe, I think he is now officially with the squad, the team, not down in the D League with the Vipers, but now up with the team. I'm pretty sure of that. I've heard different things about Patrick Beverley, but I've certainly heard that he's a scorer. He's somebody that can get his own shot pretty well, and he goes to the rim a lot, so maybe he can help out with that. One of the moves that Houston just made that I really like a lot is they picked up Terrell Harris, who was a guard that the Miami Heat just let go of. Terrell Harris is an excellent athlete, a tremendous athlete. he's got a pretty good dribble, and he's a guy that can get his own shot, and he's a guy that can really fly around the floor. He's a guard, so maybe they'll bring him up at some point if they think that he can do more than Patrick Beverley, or if they feel like they don't need another big guy. I could see that. I've seen Terrell Harris, or I'm not sure if it's Terrell or Terrell, how to pronounce it, but I've seen him play a decent amount. He's got a lot of ability. He's like I said, he's very athletic, and Houston could use another guy like that. Again, particularly when James Harden's not on the floor. And as Jeremy continues to work on his own offensive game, it would be nice if Houston had another guy or two like that. Like I said, I think that's why they lost this game tonight, because they didn't have that early in the fourth quarter. And Jeremy was trying to get some things done. He saw him, he went to the rim, but it just didn't quite click. It didn't quite work. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's something that Jeremy needs to keep working at for himself and for the team, so that they can accomplish the scoring when Harden is not out on the court. Excuse me. The summary of the game is it's a tough loss, but Houston's playing on a back-to-back tonight. New Orleans was rested. They're at home. And Houston's coming off a 5-game winning streak. You're not going to win every single game. It's unfortunate that they lost this game, but I'm not really that upset about it. You're going to get losses like this during the course of a season. You will have losses like this. I don't think that this loss is going to be the deciding factor of whether Houston makes the playoffs. It's just yet a home team. They're not that great of a team in terms of the record, and they didn't play that great, but they got hot in the fourth quarter. You're playing your second game in 2 nights, and you kind of just lost the momentum and you lost the game. But it's I'm not concerned about it. I wish they would have won, but it's a type of loss that will happen during the course of an 82-game season. As I said earlier, Jeremy didn't play a great game. This wasn't Linsanity 2.0, but the last 2 games were Linsanity 2.0. And again, if Houston doesn't let things slip away in the fourth quarter, then it's fine, because Houston would have won and Jeremy would have played well enough to win. But it didn't work out that way, and so just kind of like they didn't win this game. Houston didn't win this game. Jeremy just had one of those games. He just had one of those games where it just wasn't that great. But I don't think it's any cause for alarm or too much criticism. Now, I just want to answer a couple of people from the last video. Hyunherful, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Sorry about that if I'm not. I do think Jeremy is capable of being an all-star. I don't know if he's there right now. In fact, I don't think he's there right now, just because of how many talented guards there are in the Western Conference. Yeah, people like Kobe, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. I'm trying to think of some other shooting guards in the West. There's some very talented guards. I mean, Steve Nash. Jeremy's got the ability to be an all-star. I think he's got the talent to be an all-star. And look, I mean, it's up to the fans. I mean, the fans can vote whoever they want. I mean, the last time I saw the voting, Jeremy was the third, number 3, behind Kobe and Chris Paul. Now, what happens is that the 2 guards with the highest totals, they start the game, and then the coaches pick the rest of the guys for the team. So, you might be number 3 in voting, but you might not get put on the team, depending on what the coaches think and what they want to do. I think, and I forgot James Harden, of course. I wouldn't put Jeremy Lin on the All-Star team this year, just based on merit. But I do think he can be at that level. I do think he's got the ability and the work ethic and the basketball intelligence to be at that level in the future. And that's his goal. I know he said that. He believes that, and that's what he wants to achieve. I mean, that's something he has his sights on. So, and I think that he can do that. If he continues to improve over the next few years, why not? I'm sure. I think that he's definitely capable of doing that. I've said that before. I thought Jeremy Lin was going to be a star in the league, and I still feel that way. JJ Jose, thanks for all the stats. You have a lot of great stats comparing Jeremy and James Harden and other players. I know, quarter of the season. That stuff's really good. That's really good data that you have. So I appreciate that you bring that to the comment section, share it with me and everybody else. That's cool, man. MB Dubaha, sorry if I'm not saying your name right. You're right. Clyde Drexler was talking about how Jeremy needs to avoid taking too much contact. We saw that in the Laker game, particularly when he got hit by Robert Sacre on that layup. It's an issue. I think I mentioned in the video yesterday, Dwayne Wade is a good example of that. Dwayne Wade, incredibly aggressive style going to the basket, and he's had a lot of injuries because of that. A lot of injuries. And it can take time off of your career. And I think it's definitely taken some time off of Wade's career, both just in injuries that he's had to sit out with and longevity. You don't want to get beaten up game after game after game. What you have to do, what Clyde was mentioning, Clyde Drexler, you need to learn to fall better, and you need to learn to scale it back a little bit in intensity. You don't need to go 100 miles per hour towards the rim every single game. The way you do that and still be effective is you become a better outside shooter. You get some more individual moves so that you can get to the basket and not take as much contact. You play with guys that are also good scorers, so you don't have to score all the time. So Jeremy will learn that. He's learning it. Like I said, I can see him already. He had a play tonight. I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it was in the fourth quarter when Houston was when they were having trouble scoring early. Jeremy went to the basket, and it looked like the shot was really bad or whatever. What happened was he was trying to get a foul. He was looking to get a foul call in that situation. So he's working at that. And that's something that James Harden's going to help him with a lot. James Harden I would say, he's probably top 5 in the league in terms of drawing fouls. And James Harden's a big guy, and he's pretty aggressive, but he doesn't get really beaten up. And that's because he knows how to draw fouls. He knows how to draw fouls without taking a beating. And I think Jeremy's starting to learn that from Harden, and I think he will continue to study how Harden does that and incorporate some of that into his own game. And so that should really help him. Cal Mike, dude, I agree with you. As I said in the video yesterday, I do think that Kevin McHale made the right move in pulling Jeremy early in the game yesterday, just because I didn't think Jeremy was playing fast enough. And the Lakers were playing extremely fast. And that's why Houston was down 18-4 early in that game. And it turned out well. Tony Douglas came in. He was playing very quick. Houston climbed back into the game. When Jeremy came back into the game later, he was playing full speed. So the result was what Kevin McHale wanted. And like I said yesterday, Kevin McHale needs to do that because he's playing with a team that's competing for a playoff spot. they don't have time to let everybody figure out everything on their own. Sometimes the coach has to figure it out for the team, and when that happens, he'll sit a guy down and put another guy in. Now, I know a lot of people said in the comments in the Lakers video, well, why doesn't he do that with Harden? Well, I'm sure he would do it with Harden if he needed to do it, but the truth is Harden's a better player than Jeremy at this point in time, and he might always be a better player than him. He probably will be. Harden's more experienced than Jeremy is, and I mean, some of it is just Kevin McHale has more trust in James Harden than he does in Jeremy Lin. And I understand that. As I've said in other videos, James Harden is a proven player. James Harden is making a serious push in a lot of people's minds for MVP consideration this year. If James Harden's on the floor, you know he's going to be scoring points, or he's going to be looking to score, and he's going to be doing that for you. And even though James handles the ball a fair amount, he's not the point guard, so he's not really the guy that needs to set the pace. But again, as we saw early in the fourth quarter tonight, without James Harden, the team will struggle scoring at points. At certain times, they will struggle to score. With James Harden out there, he's going to score. So I think that Kevin McHale has more confidence and kind of more latitude in letting James Harden stay out there, with the idea that James Harden will correct his mistakes maybe more easily than Jeremy will. Jeremy's still kind of figuring out his game and what he needs to do in this offense, whereas James Harden's you know what you're going to get from James Harden. He's going to score the ball. And so I think that's part of why Kevin McHale will stay with James Harden, even when James Harden's not shooting the ball well or whatever. I mean, James Harden's a better option than most of the rest of the guys on the team in terms of scoring and taking shots. So even if James Harden is, like the one game he had, it's like 3 for 19, you're going to stick with him because even if he's not playing well, his shot attempts are probably still going to be better than most of the rest of the guys on the team, even if they are shooting very well. So I think that's probably the philosophy of why Harden gets to stay on the floor a bit more sometimes, even when he's struggling, as compared with Jeremy and other guys on the team too. I mean, that happens to pretty much everybody on the team except for James Harden. If Omer's not playing well or he's not playing quick enough against a certain team, McHale will pull him. He'll pull Jeremy. He'll pull Marcus Morris, et cetera, et cetera. I think that James Harden's a little bit of the exception to the rule, so to speak, and it's understandable. Okay, that's it. That's pretty much it for this game. Give us your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We will provide full information in the video description below the video player for video highlights, the box score of the game. We'll also put information there for game stories and for the Conservative New Media Facebook group. So you guys can come and join that and check that out. We've got over 2,000 members there and counting. We'd love to have you come and be a part of that. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. I hope you guys are having a great day or great night wherever you are when you watch this video. And we will talk to you again soon. Hopefully Houston can get back, start a new winning streak in their next game. And like I said, I'm not really concerned about this loss. It's too bad they didn't win, but I don't think that this is a an important loss, all things considered. So that's it for now. Talk to you guys again soon.